So the Houston Texans have wrapped up their training camp practice today, August 4th. And this is a very welcome thing to see, reported by multiple people who are actually at practice this morning. CJ Stroud got every rep with the first team offense today in all 4 team drills. All reps with the first team offense. Now, this could be as simple as D'Amico Ryans deciding, instead of having these guys alternate reps with the first team, he is going to give them each their own day, which is something that Sean and I talked about a little bit earlier in the week. It does feel like it's hard to develop a rhythm with whatever team you're playing with if you're alternating between first and second team. So it could be that, but it also could be the end of the quarterback competition between these two. And we'll learn more tomorrow night when the Texans have their next practice, and we'll also learn a little less than a week from today, next Thursday in Foxborough, based off of, I think, who comes in first. I suppose we could have an announcement. We'll see. But I liked seeing this. Some highlights from C.J. Stroud today. He did throw an interception, as did Davis Mills. Well, he was working with the second team. But he's getting the ball out quickly. The last team session, he got the ball out in less than 3 seconds, which is really important. That's for DJ Bieneme, who I do the Talkin' Texans podcast with. He also threw a nice deep ball to Nico Collins on the left sideline against Shaquille Griffin. And there also was a moment where Nico Collins and Derek Stingley Jr. were battling in one-on-ones at the line of scrimmage. Stingley was guarding him tightly, but Collins snagged the catch on the sideline. It was a good day for Nico Collins today. That's good to see. You know he's got the size. Does he have the potential to be a true number 1 receiver in this league? Probably not. I think you would have seen it by now. But can he be a capable number 2, or at the very least in a Swiss Army knife of wide receivers, the big guy that you can use in the red zone like a tight end? I do hate fades, but Nico Collins is a guy that you can throw a fade to. So that's all that we know about the quarterbacks today. As far as the defensive side of things, Will Anderson had a strip sack of C.J. Stroud. You're not supposed to touch the quarterback. You're not supposed to do that. But the good news is he's not killing the quarterback. He's been regularly getting to the quarterback. I don't know if he was with the first team defense in that moment. Stroud obviously was with the first team offense all day. But it's been a really good start to camp from what we've heard about Will Anderson, the 3rd overall pick. Other notes, linebacker position seems to be very open. I've brought this up before. Blake Cashman's had a very good training camp. Also, 5th-round pick Henry To'oTo'o. He got in with the first team unit today, as did Blake Cashman. Christian Harris is the only guy with the starting spot. Good. I know that Denzel Perriman's here, a veteran who's played for other teams before. Corey Littleton, also here, another linebacker who's played for other teams. Christian Kirksey has played there for a couple of years, and the Texans seem to like him for some reason. I don't get it, because on the field I don't see it. But they have, it seems like, some real competition at that position. In fact, that might be the position with the most competition at it in all of Texans training camp. So that's good to see. Some of the young guys are getting in there and actually making plays.
Yeah, especially seeing Christian Harris step up, because he was one of the guys that was like a very lone bright spot, somewhat of a bright spot last year. And so him continuing to develop and him be not given the linebacker, but that he's like, seems to be leading, like he seems to be the best linebacker that the Texans have. That is a good sign.
It's a low bar to clear, but for all the people that don't like Nick Caserio, he did find some good picks last year. The year before, I think there are excuses that you can rationally make just because they didn't have the picks early on. Really, right now, the big questions are about Derek Stingley Jr., who's had a good training camp, and the other guy, Kenyon Green. This is brought up by somebody who was at Texans training camp. Kenyon Green was getting roughed up badly by Malik Collins in one-on-one drills and had to leave briefly. Yikes.
Don't love that.
No, I don't. Because that is the guy that you picked in the first round last year. And while he was pretty good in run blocking, he was pretty bad in pass protection. And with the news yesterday about Scott Quessenberry, who officially tore his ACL, tore his MCL, done for the year, you have Juice Scruggs in the middle at center with no competition. There's no one really competing with Kenyon Green either at left guard. So you got a ton of money invested in this offensive line, which stands to reason that that's not going to be an obstacle in getting C.J. Stroud on the field. The offensive line isn't going to be used the same way it was used back in 2017 to have Tom Savage in as opposed to Deshaun Watson to open up the year. But the interior has some serious questions. And I think the last thing you want first couple of games of the year is C.J. Stroud getting hit from the blind side from guys coming right up the middle, like by somebody that Kenyon Green was supposed to block or somebody that Juice Scruggs was supposed to block, hitting in that A gap right there. The other tidbit, Dalton Schultz back at practice today. So there you go. That is all that we know from Houston Texans training camp practice today.